Hey everybody, welcome back to Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here watching some Jobless Reincarnation. We got some comments here today, so let's see what people got to say. We got Asun the from Letter of Invitation saying, Sylphie is a mixed race elf slash beast and human, if I remember correctly. The green hair thing means something else that will be explained in the future. That pendant was given to Rudeus by Lilia back when Rudy saved them in Sharon. She gave him Sylphie's pendant and Roxy's holy relic. What do you got about that, Theta?
Never any first thoughts, huh?
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best.
Pass it along and then react to whatever gets said, huh?
But yeah, I thought we had like an explanation back in season 1 about Sylphie, how she's like part quote demon or something, or like at least looks the part.
I mean, it was said that she was a demon, but then she
Hmm.
lacks the head jewel thing.
Right, right. So, well, at the very least, I guess that's not an explanation of what she actually is. That's more of an explanation of like what she looks like and why she has problems.
Well, it was an explanation
Uh,
of what people thought that she was. That's why that one kid who's
yeah.
on our concept board, by the way, was trying to beat her up.
Mhm. But yeah, no. So we at least know about the green hair. I no wait, no. The hair changed while falling, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
and
you didn't think they still had green
actually
hair, did you? We've seen them on screen.
my brain is going through phases right now,
We
but I
had a
thought we got
whole
an
episode
explanation
with
from
them.
that from another user, actually, didn't we? Where just like the amount of magic or something did something.
As a reminder to anybody watching this, it's been 3 weeks since the last episode. Well, technically, we just watched an episode like half an hour ago, but it's been 3 weeks since our connection to the rest of the series.
Yeah, so if we happen to get things wrong or don't remember things right, it's because I'm an idiot. So
Agreed.
I think on that, let's check out the next comment where CKY0017 from Letter of Invitation says, Your timeline has some problems. We're right back to it, Theta. When Rudy and Eris do, Eris is 15 since a couple of days, and she is older than Rudy. When Rudy meets Sarah, is winter, and when he saves her again is winter. So a year passes plus some months before they meet with Sarah, and some after the rescue is almost a couple of years. I hope my memory is correct. So this is addressed specifically to you and your timeline.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. They're making a reference of when a thing happened to give you a basis, and then they're saying a different timeline event.
Well, you are our timeline expert. If it's snowy one day and then snowy the next day, does that mean that the year has happened between them?
Well, Griffin, I think the more poignant thing to cover here is that name not Sky?
No, because that's not how you would pronounce it with a C.
It sure is. C
It'd be Chkai.
C K Y.
I
Sky.
have CKs in my last name. You don't pronounce them Sky.
I'm saying you can. Especially when your author clearly isn't English language predominant.
If anything, it would be more like Chi.
No, I think that's Sky. Sea Kai. Sky.
Mm-mm-mm. No, hard disagree.
Well, you
Hard
know what,
disagree.
Griff? I think you'll find that all names are made up.
That
So,
is true.
I believe you also find that pronunciations are equally as made up.
And
So,
the fourth time today, I'll bring up Wittgenstein. Anyway, let's go to the recap real quick. Last time was I Don't Want to Die, where Rudius is settling into school life and growing better acquainted with the enigmatic Silent Fits. But when his efforts to teach Sonoba hit a roadblock, his new friend proposes a drastic solution.
where we started to ride the coattails of Rising of a Shield Hero and
Where
a
we,
little bit of One Piece.
yep, we did it, everybody. We did the anime sin. We went to the slave market and we just bought one like it was nothing. There's more to it. The show is trying its hardest to keep us on its side.
It's
And
not
I'm
actually. It's
won
not
over by a
trying.
little I'm won over by a little bit of the Rudeus adopts a kid kind of arc, like I was saying. But as you've informed us, still slavery. Still slavery.
My point isn't even coming from it's still slavery. I think that's self-evident.
Uh-huh.
You're quoting people. Quote Lincoln. It's self-evident. But, yeah, no, the whole walking into the place and being like, I'm not sure about this, Rudy. You'll get used to it. You know, Rudy, the guy not from this world originally, is convincing somebody who's from here, who another commenter is pointing out, possibly part enslaved species. You'll get used to it.
Yep.
Rudy could not have
Not
more
just
white
active
guy
participation.
colonialist mentality if he tried.
Active participation and active dismissal. Yeah, it's like, all right, Rudeus, these are some sins you gotta deal with, and if we don't get you punched for it, we're gonna be slightly unhappy and probably still keep watching the show.
He's not acting
stuck
like
here there, we're not
anything is
leaving.
actively wrong. To the point of, well, this slave is unhappy. Better put her down. You know? Not even, what? That was the scene while you were fucking around with your dog at the time. Rudy is like, you're not happy? Well, I can only think of one solution to this.
Oh yeah,
Do you want to die?
I caught all that, and that is Rudy is doing stuff in his own fucked up perspective because he's quote been there. I'm not sure I would quite. No, he's actually literally been enslaved before. It's the he has some room to talk. So
not
whatever.
Really. He was imprisoned. He wasn't enslaved. He was imprisoned. He wasn't made to do labor. He was literally, you're arrested until we can fucking figure out what to do with you. I think there's a difference. Because even in our modern mentality of imprisonment and where we have forced work camps for the imprisoned people that we have, Rudy didn't get to do any of that. Didn't get to do, like, it's a summer camp. He wasn't forced to do any of that. He literally had to stay in the cage. It was imprisonment, it wasn't slavery.
Right. But still, he's trying to draw parallels between like his own depression and the depression he sees here, and just try to get the vibe of what's going on, I guess. Or
he was not. There was no internal monologue. There was no thought processes given. He literally went from. He was literally went. From, no, I don't think we have to guess. If he doesn't think anything, we don't know where he's coming from. So we can only take it on face value that literally he's like, wow, this is weird. This slave isn't happy. This child slave is not happy. While the other guy's like, oh yeah, she's a bit malnourished, but I guess you could fix that, I don't know, feeding her. Implying, one, he's not feeding her, and Rudy does not bring that up either. You mean you're not feeding her? No, Rudy's like, fine, I guess that's normal for a slave. Oh man, she's not happy though. That's weird. You wanna die, little girl? This is all fucked up.
The best I can do is just try to be an optimist and try to find the best interpretation I can here to keep watching without immediately assuming that Rudy is 12 steps back on a completely different track we didn't even think he was on.
What is the point of thinking the best?
Because I'm watching the show and I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it as much as possible.
I'm not enjoying the show. This doesn't change my enjoyment of the show. Like, I guess there's a difference here between, say, watching this and then going to like Full Metal Alchemist, where I get super upset at the characters when we see their backstories and they're all, like Armstrong making the wall with a little pivot of a ditch in it because he knows the people are being shot.
And then showing remorse for it and then taking actions to try to make amends for things they did, and then you still get upset about them, and then Rudy steps in, buys a slave, and you're just like, I guess this is just what we're in for now.
Well, see, my problem there is that you're painting what my reaction in an intentionally negative light, because I've already expressed to you my actual concerns with it. Namely, you're saying, oh, they tried to do better or something. It's like, no, they didn't. They let a whole country full of people starve to death and never actively did anything about it. They sought justice on their own side without seeking reparations on the people that they harmed, and that was my anger. And you're constantly painting that as something else. Whereas this is
Right.
just this is a sudden revelation, which is one of the problems that I'm facing, is that, as
Mm-hmm.
you, I think, indicated before,
We are in shock.
has never been indicated to us. Well, maybe it has. We never really covered the fact that, what's his name? I want to say Boros, but that's not right. Philip's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name? Was
Let's
it
find out.
Boros?
Philip's dad. Boreas.
Boreas. It's close. Boreas was
Zarius
having
Boreas.
sexual encounters with his servants. Were they slaves?
I don't think it was said explicitly, but I think we can assume.
I mean, maybe we can assume now. I don't think I was assuming back then, but again, my memory is shit. So maybe they
Mhm.
were called slaves back then, and I just didn't think about it. But now being so face first into it, and Rudy doing the whole you'll get used to it thing. It's worse than just participating. Like when a Shield Hero does it, right? That dude is so at the bottom of the ditch, right? He is like,
Yeah.
the world hates me. I'm never gonna be able to kick myself out from this. Who cares if I do one more evil thing? Like, they literally cannot think worse of me right now, and this will help me. So, when he turns that evil thing that he's done into a slightly good thing, that makes a bit of difference in Shield Hero.
Right,
Versus
that's like a
this,
completely different story, obviously.
Rudeus is not at the bottom. It's literally a guy he wants to teach how to carve statues. It could be no less stakes could be given here for a little girl who's starving to death to be
Hmm.
bought. And Rudeus's opinion on the entire matter is so out of left field. It's insane.
Right. If we gotta get Rudius to say some text about it at some point, or it just gonna be continually hanging over like Rudius just bought a slave once and then just kind of moved along.
What's my fear is that there's no context to it at all, that they don't care.
Hmm.
Nobody, when I say nobody cares, I don't mean the show. I mean the writers, anybody who's watched the show up until now. Up until it's just been like a thing. My
Hmm.
worry is that I've never heard anything about this. Nobody in the comment section has ever been, wait till you get to this episode. You know, nobody has been seemingly cared.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
fact that now I super care about this is a worry, not only from the comment section to come up like, what the fuck, man? You're ruining the reaction to the show with this nonsense. Just move on. It's just a fucking show, man. To what you said before, it's going to linger over every thought I have now about the Rudeus character. I didn't care
Hmm.
about his perversions. I don't care about his erectile dysfunction. But the dude was like, yeah, man, slavery's cool. It's like, what? What is? Where is this guy coming from?
I guess once again, I'll just say
What?
I'm waiting for the John Brown anime.
What was going on in the fields around his family's house that we were not seeing?
Yeah, the world is additionally darker than it seemed before.
These people were well-to-do, and we never saw where the money was coming from, and they never seemed to be doing any work. So,
Well, feudalism is also basically slavery, but I mean, we live in that world too. But on the brighter note, uh, there is context that Rudius is doing okay. He has a couple of people he likes at school. He has an inner friend group, and he's happy. On on that completely different note, we now have a context for a status quo that to inject additional drama into. Like his cousin coming in and going, "What the hell are you doing buying slaves, dude?"
no, he can be cool with it. I mean, evidently, the only person we've been shown who's not cool with it, or at least had a modicum of problem with it, as our commenter just indicated, is mixed race, and part of that race mix is one of those slave races. So,
Right. So at the end of the day, are we going to do the John Brown anime? I don't feel that's where we're going this season.
what are we doing
So,
after this? We're saving our mother?
yes, we're saving our mother Lex after this. We're going for Zenith. That's what's happening.
That doesn't leave a lot of room for changing the entire status quo of the world, does it?
Well, maybe if he teleports everyone away from slavery, it'll suddenly stop.
I mean, yeah, he is learning teleportation, but I think one of the salient points I said about this show that I appreciated was that Rudeus isn't like a superhero. He's like ground level character. Sure he has a leg up on everybody else because he like
He's
started
definitely
leveling up
privileged and
from like
talented,
5 years
yeah.
old. But the point being is, the thing that I liked was that he wasn't going to like change the world or anything like that. He was just gonna live his life through it. And now we're at the point of like, well, do you not say something against institutionalized evil, or do you just live with it and realize that you're a person with no ability to affect reality? Like, how many times have I come to you, Griff, with a character in anime where I'm like, well, I can't do anything? And you're like, well, do they not have a responsibility, if not to themselves, but to others, to do something against this sort of thing?
Right, Rudeus is technically fully capable and in such a privileged position. He is talking to princesses and princes and other nobility. He is part of the nobility. He has direct influence over things. And he hasn't done anything with it yet. He has not realized his political power.
Well,
at all.
I think we should just go ahead and get into the show now, because this is just a conversation with Noed, and I can't help but think now
I know.
that
We gotta go in and cut it here.
that I said, hey, we can watch 4 of these back to back. They should be easy, because it's just kind of fun. It's kind of a fun thing. And the very first episode is, hey, what if we just bought a slave? It's like, God damn it.
No, they really kicked us in the bud this time. So I think before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. Just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Leave a comment in below the video. Make it paragraphs. I don't give a fuck. I'll read it. Just so long as it's a well thought out argument or your views on the episode, whatever. I'll read them. If it's just gonna fucking insult me for our views, consider it deleted.
Now we get the Fitz routine.
In fact, it occurs to me that a number of the people that got teleported actually got captured and sold into slavery. And it was Rudeus' dad that was rescuing them.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. Which I guess plays half into my rescuing people you care about is not the same as rescuing people in trouble.
I guess I'm also thinking here for a second. Her stretching is similar to Rudeus's and like the animation.
I brought that up last time. That they independently did this, because Rudeus was not exercising like this when he got teleported, and in fact only started doing this like maybe a year ago. So they've independently of themselves started working out before they even re-encountered one another.
Oh, she even says it out loud. What you thought?
Well, yeah, but I said it last episode, which means I thought it before she did.
授業は退屈だ。大半はルディに習ったことの復習。ルディがいかに魔術に関して詳しかったのかがわかる。 あの魔術はどういう原理なんですか？あれは焚き火で真っ赤にした石を鍋に入れるとすぐにお湯が沸くじゃないですか。それと同じですね。なるほど。
Combo
お姫
spells.
様は勉強熱心だ。僕はそんな風に一生懸命で前向きな人が好きなんだと思う。それはルディのせいなのかな。
Rudy as a positive person. There's a discussion to be had.
Well, I mean, that's what Eris thinks about him,
こ
too.
こが近道かと。利便性は
She doesn't know how much she fucked him up.
しかし風情がありますね。
初期の頃に作られた町の名残でしょうね。シャリーヤは他国からの侵攻を受けやすいので複雑に作ったのだそうですよ。
おや、ルークは授業を真面目に受けていないと思いましたが、ちゃんと聞いていたのですね。
先日デートした子からの受け売りです。
遊びすぎて後ろから刺されないように。
仕方ありませんよ。自分もノトスの人間ですので。
Da da
ノ
da.
トスの人間か。そういえばルディもそうなんだっけ。やっぱり女の
Yeah, we all know what Paul's like.
誰かと結婚したら
Runs of the
他の女の
family.
子にも手を出すのかな。出すんだろうな。ルディのお父さんもそうだったし。
Yeah.
ルディか。なんか最近ルディのことばっかり考えてるな。僕ルディとどうなりたいんだろう。
I don't know, the love triangle around Rudeus is very confusing.
The love triangle has yet to like interact with each other, you know? And when it does, I don't know where the
Because,
show's
I mean,
gonna
it
go.
starts with Roxy, and then it goes to Sylvie, and then Eris comes into play.
Mhm.
That's the order of them joining the triangle.
I guess realistically, over a period of 10 to 15 years, like, it's perfectly ordinary for one person to have different relationships. Like, that's not unusual at all. But it's only because we're watching these in like 20, 30-minute bursts across a series that we go, I wonder, how is all this going to intersect? And it's like, if I learned that someone I was dating knew someone from a decade ago and still thought positive of them, I wouldn't think anything different. That doesn't change anything.
On one hand, you do have a point, but on the other hand, this is also a narrative. A narrative that pushes the whole relationship arc. So it's not even that we're only seeing bits of his life and then we're getting time jumps and everything. It's very much a case of what if everything in your life was focused about like these one or two things?
Yeah.
You wouldn't if your life was like the Real Housewives of wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
It would be all about these little drama bits. And you would suddenly care. What do you mean he's dating? He hasn't gotten over me yet? It would be all about that shit.
I guess the real central drama from a narrative viewer perspective is the question of, like, who is Rudy's actually going to end up with, right? Because that's, like, the entire point of these kind of setups. We got drama and uncertainty.
俺が実験と称してジュリにさせている修行。一日の初めに一度だけ栄唱で魔術を行使させ、そこからはひたすら無栄唱で土玉を作らせる。ザノバはそんなことで無栄唱魔術が使えるわけがないと思っているようだな。たった1ヶ月で成功してみせた。人間語も最初から片言でなら理解できていた。
And I guess just for the sake of commenting out loud, obviously I'm going to be happy when she's happy. She's a cute girl in an anime.
She is honestly very adorable.
Anyone who's been watching my solo content should know how much I was on board when Marie showed up.
Alright, he's given at least a positive statement of, like, he does not care.
Yeah, I think that's also the problem, though. He doesn't fucking care.
Well, I mean, more like he's not interested in perpetuating slavery, he just wants an apprentice.
No, he was a happy and active participant of it. You gonna drop it?
Oh gosh, you're Jared with all the hair. It's so weird now.
そういえばロキシー人形の方はどうしたんですか？
それはシーロン王国に置いてきて。
嘘だな。
実はあるにはあるのですが。
あるんですか？久しぶりに見たいので出してもらっていいですか？
You don't want to see what he's done to it, man.
Well, I'm assuming he broke it.
Worse, probably.
おい、なんだこれは。
That he tried to do something with it. Okay, no.
Yeah, okay. Phew, it's only broken.
おい、どうなってんだこりゃ。俺がどれだけ師匠に感謝し尊敬してるか。お前に言って。
Julie just smartly leaving the room.
どれだけ師匠への思いを込めてたか。お前知ってたんじゃなかったっけか。
Oh, the future eye went off first.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
それは決闘した時に
決闘だ。
はい、1年生の時リニアとプルセナに挑まれまして。
あのドルディア族の娘たちか。
決闘の際に
And he didn't actually tell her that he knew her parents, so.
申し訳ありません、師匠。
Oh, Julia's just so cute.
師匠。
そういうことがあったんなら最初から言ってくれよ。そしたらあいつらにあんなにヘラヘラしなかったのに。
許せん。
Ah, today's episode, a question for revenge.
Well, the thing is that, remember, what's his name? He said if you fuck with my daughter, I'll kill you, essentially. So...
彼女らに思い知らせてやりましょう。
So we're gonna have a cycle of revenge with the Beast People. This is gonna be great.
リニアがもたもたしてるからこんな時間になっちゃったの。何度もうるさいにゃあ。何か用かにゃお前ら。リニア、あいつらやる気みたいなの。ザノバ、お前恥ずかしくにゃいのか。いつぞやの仕返しをするのにそんなちっこい一年坊主を連れてくるやんってな。
I don't know how Zenobia lost, though, because remember, he's super strong.
They're probably a magic duel.
いいじゃないですか。何も恥ずかしいことはありません。いつも二人でつるんでる彼女らの方がよっぽど恥ずかしい。何せ群れなければ何もできないと喧伝しているのですから。にゃんだと。
There he goes, the sassiness.
I'm just waiting for the part where he says, hey, I know your family.
Your dad would kill me if he found out I did this.
Or maybe he, like, intentionally loses and then, sure, break this and then shows them a statue of the little sister.
にゃーにゃーうるさいんだよ。従属はそんな下手くそな人間語しか喋れないのか。
Oh, now you're just being racist, man.
I think that goes along with the slavery.
裸に向いて水ぶっかけてやるにゃ。もうリニアはすぐ切れる。
ザラバ、プルセナだ。
I mean, to be fair, Future Sight is kind of cheating.
Yes, a little bit.
Remember, he mentioned what color her panties were the first time he saw her, too.
Yep. Okay.
出番はありませんでしたな。
いえ、自分でも驚いて
Again,
ま
it
す。
doesn't play well in the
割と
overall
やってな
narrative.
かったな。
Yesterday I bought a slave. Today
カイ
I've
ロとかエースって
kidnapped two
そん
girls.
な強いのか。
And then taught my slave that this is perfectly acceptable behavior.
おはようございます。
Alright, now it's gotten even worse.
さて、何から話しましょうか。
この状況ならもしかしてあれが治るかもしれない。
Rudeus.
いい感触だ。だが興奮は薄い。
Seriously. This is
帰ってくるはずの息子の歓喜の
That
産声
he's
は聞
just
こえて
digging
こない。
himself into a hole all
No,
over again.
literally the episode after the slave auction thing, we've gone to sexual
その
assault.
ような方向で罰を与えるのですか？
いえ、ちょっとした実験です。
I don't know where to go anymore, Griff.
さて、あなた方、どうしてこうなっているかわかりますか？
あなたには何もしてないはずなの。
ほう、何もしていない。それをやったのはあなた方ですね。
この気持ち悪い人形が何なの？
それは我が神をかたどった人形です。
神？
そうです。僕は彼女に助けられたことで世界を知ることができました。
This only gets creepier for them.
その人形は我が神の御姿です。あなた方はそれをバラバラに壊した。
I mean, I'm less creeped out by the panties thing. I figure maybe I've just dragged my line in the sand somewhere.
さあ、申し開きはありますか？
違うの。踏んだのはリニアなの。私はやめようって言ったの。
面白そうだ。
気持ち悪いからいらないって言ったのはプルセナニャ。でも踏んだのはリニアなの。足が滑ったのにゃ。それにプルセナだって最後に蹴っ飛ばしてバラバラにしたにゃ。
シャラップ！二人とも同罪です。罪には罰を与えねばなりません。とはいえ、僕の宗派はまだできたばかりで、こうした場合の罰についてはまだ決まっていません。
What's the name of this episode again?
Good question.
あ、思い出しました。彼には冤罪をかけられましてね。聖獣様に不埒な真似を働いたということで、裸に向かれて冷水を浴びせられ、牢屋の中に入れられたものです。あなた方もそうしましょうか？
何でもやるからそれだけはやめてくださいにゃ。リニアはどうなってもいいの。だから私だけは助けるの。そうにゃ、あっちはどうなってもいい。
ドルディア族は信奉する聖獣様のこととなるとひどいものでしたよ。証拠も何もないのに悪者だと決めつけて。だがあなたたち
I
は
mean, it was their threat when they were attacking him
お
originally.
願いします。
Splash
Oh,
him
yeah.
with water.
もう二度としないの。
二度と会ってたまるものか。
許してほしいんだったらこの人形くっつけて元通りにしてくれよ。ロッキーシー、ロッキーシー、
ロッキーシー、ロッキーシー、ロッキーシー、ロッキーシー。
At least it has gone from weird to at least slightly humorous.
ん？いや、別に修復できんわけではないぞ。
Yeah, I assumed it
そうだ
was.
し、当時よりも俺の腕は上がっているし。そうだ、直せるんだよな。どうしたものか。
ということがあったんです。
ちょっと待って。
And you were actually telling
ザノバ
somebody else what happened.
女の子を監禁してるってこと？
いかん。少し誤解させてしまったようだ。
No, you.
部屋には
That's
いますが
accurate.
エロいことはしてませんよ。
But you did,
That
though.
statement doesn't make it better.
No, you did. See?
胸は触ったの。
That's literally sexual assault.
少し確かめることがありましたのでね。
じゃあそういう意味じゃなくて触ったの？
No, you literally did it with the intent to get off,
そっか。
but
ともあれ
couldn't.
キッズ先輩にはまた知恵を貸していただきたいんです。こちらの気が晴れ、かつ恨まれず、しかし復讐されない程度には分からせるようなお仕置き。何かありませんか？
I don't know how, but Rudeus went from turning into a good person to this.
He's drifted back more towards the mean average of Ichi
I
protagonist.
just got done listening to somebody making the joke about reading books does this to you.
せいぜい乱暴にするといいにゃ。でも部屋で飼うのでもせめて手かせを外してほしいにゃ。動けないのは辛いにゃ。逃げないからお願いします。いい子にするからご飯だけは食べさせてほしいの。
Oh, now they're starving.
中に吠えたりし
Yeah, remember that malnutrition thing we covered with the slave auction thing earlier?
お肉が食べたいの。お腹すいたの。ルーデウスくん。
And blow dryer.
Why? Is it because they pissed themselves? Is that what we're indicating?
I think so.
そういうのはきちんとお付き合いをして結婚してそれからにゃ。そうなの。でもたまにリニアのおっぱいを触るぐらいは許してあげるの。そうにゃ。たまにならってなんであっち私のは高いの。高いお肉をくれればなの。あっちだって高いにゃ。
And we've gone back to standard anime about this.
I do at least like these two like level of friendship where they're willing to sell each other out all the time. I'm enjoying that.
そうにゃ。昨日の夕方から飲まず食わずだったからにゃ。
なんだその言い方は。
ちょっと反省が足りないね。フィッツ、お前は関係ないんやろ。そうなの。ヌーニなの。
二人ともそこにお座り。フィッツ先輩、あれやっちゃってください。
いい考えというやつだ。
ある部族が体に文様を残すときに使う塗料を使ったんだ。特殊な詠唱をすれば。
What the fuck happened, Griff? We took a 2-week break. What the fuck happened?
Did we download the right show?
僕が魔術を発動させてその入れ墨を一生残すからね。
ヒッツ先輩もえぐいね。
明日は一日その顔で過ごすこと。そしたら消してあげるよ。ボス、あっちの動きを目で追えるとかどういう訓練してんだ？
師匠の教えを守り、きちんと動いてるだけです。
師匠は誰にゃんだ？
Literally, we chanted it at you.
ギレーヌですかね。
ギレーヌ？ドルディア族のギレーヌかにゃ？剣王ギレーヌ。
あ、そうですね。
He completely forgot this
リ
detail.
ニアがギュエスの娘ってことは、ギレーヌはリニアのおばさんになるんだな。
なるほど。じゃあにゃ。またね、ボス。人形のことはごめんなさいなの。やれやれ。
We literally went buck standard anime all of a sudden.
At least it brought some levity back into everything.
Did it?
A little bit.
I think it brought weirdness. And not the normal weirdness that I'm used to.
Oh, there's a quote.
魔力流せば消えるやつ。ねえ、ずっと気になってたんだけど、あれは何？
ああ、我が宗派のご神体が入っています。
あれ、ルーデウス君ってミリス教徒じゃないんだ。
ええ、
ちょっと
ロキシ
どんなのか見てもいい？
教徒を開けないでください。
ごめん。
さすがにフィッツ先輩には刺激が強すぎる。
So,
他のものなら見てもいい。
Sylvie's gonna find out that I'm in love with another woman. And you don't even know that this is about to happen.
There we go. There's the daytime drama we've been waiting for.
No, we've gotten so much larger drama now.
横になってもサングラスを外さない。ここでふと手を伸ばして外したらどうなるだろうか。
Do you honestly think you'd recognize Sylvie if you just took off the sunglasses?
If it's that simple to dispel the Clark Kent disguise.
僕の素顔。
見たい。
なんてね。悪いけど、アリエル様の命令でね、僕は誰にも顔を見せちゃいけないんだ。
そうですか。無理に見ようとは思いません。
そう言ってもらえると助かるよ。じゃあそろそろアリエル様のところに行かないと。
はい、ありがとうございました。
どういたしまして。 じゃあね、ルーデウス君。
I take Griff. Totally different
Yeah.
reaction if you told me I have 2 girls tied up in my room.
もしあのままフィッツ先輩の顔を見てしま
I don't trust the police, but I'm calling them right now,
なん
actually.
だか
No, I said if
取り
you
返しの
said
つ
that,
かないことになって
you're calling
Oh.
the police on yourself. Which I
Yeah,
guess,
no, I probably deserve it.
yeah. Also funny to think your first thought was call the police, knowing you.
I know. What other response is there here?
I don't know. Again, I always
Justice gotta
lean.
be served sometimes.
I always lean back to your anarchist teachings, and I figure, oh, we have to police ourselves in some way.
All right. Take in a breath of air. Ooh, all right.
Again, this was a
Maybe.
standard anime episode, but
Yeah.
does not pair well to the episode that came before it.
Right, it's just we've been on a little bit of a roller coaster, haven't we?
Well, no, I don't mean it doesn't pair well to the episode that came before it, not because, oh, this was like, haha, funny, whatever.
Mhm.
Consider he went from slave trade to kidnapping to sexual assault. And I understand that if you put like a lot of normal anime into just a legal standard, a lot of it comes off looking bad.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you put them all together in back-to-back episodes, it's not that good.
I guess what it comes down here is that like the last bits that we've been watching, like we hit a high note with like the end of season 1. We've been kind of like coasting on that for a bit. And then we just get a average. And that's like a absolute shock.
No, I'm not going to agree with that. Hold on.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to agree it was average. The show was good. It started off good. First, what, 4 or 5 episodes?
I just meant the latest ones.
The whole Sarah arc, if you will.
Yeah.
No, because even when we got to Renoa and everything, that was fine. It was more continuation of the narrative that we're on, the themes of the show that we're on. Like, the whole erectile dysfunction thing fit in with the whole with no self-confidence thing that we had going on.
Yeah.
Everything was working within the same themes.
Yep.
And then sudden drop of slavery, which may fit previous discussions, previous... I don't know, because even then, it was just like a 1 to 2 minute thing in the middle of him finally getting to teach them classes and whatnot, and him just like describing what it was like there at Eris's place. So it wasn't even like a full-fledged narrative of its own. But we were all in. And then I'm not going to go over the whole slavery thing again. I'm just indicating that was a hard right turn. And then from there to go into what on its own may have been an ordinary, fun, just an anime episode, right? If we didn't have the slavery episode and just went right into this, sometimes Rudeus has groped people. That's fair. He's done it before.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that much of a problem with it back then because it's always like, Rudeus is just a pervert. We live with the fact that Rudeus is a pervert. But after such a serious episode that wasn't taken seriously, to go to that, it's the additive nature that makes it problematic. By itself, right? It's like watching the first episode of Goblin Slayer. It's like, these are girls being raped by goblins. What the fuck is going on here? And then the rest of the show...
Hard staying away from Goblin Slayer, jeez.
What?
I'm hard staying away from Goblin Slayer.
It's actually a pretty alright show. That's the thing, is the first episode is all of the problems, and then the rest of the show is just like fan service shit. Right?
Yeah.
None of the rest of the show goes into this, well, except for like killing people. But that's like the point of Goblin Slayer, that goblins are evil. And it just went the hardest route possible in the first episode to show you that. It's like going from that to just the fan servicey stuff that is the rest of Goblin Slayer. This we went from, Rudeus is a problematic guy, but, he's endearing because we've seen his backstory. We know where he's coming from. He's
literally trying to improve and be a better person.
He does not mean any malice for his actions, because he's just coming to grips of who he was before and who he wants to be now.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't read any malice into his actions. And then we hit the slavery episode, where he not only does not condemn it, he doesn't think anything of it, and then tries to proactively sell it to somebody else who might have a problem with it. That is the malice that he did not have, that he is actively propagating now. And that's where the problem lies. And then when you add his previous stuff onto it with, new actions. This is the rudeus we had no problem with before. Now watching him do it with that last episode makes it seem like a different person. This isn't the endearing rudeus that we've traveled with the whole time. This is, you did what? And now you did what?
Right. This has been the roller coaster. Here's what I'm hoping. We've now reached back to a ordinary average, and from here we're gonna go back towards all the things that made us love this series, and maybe not be quite so the last two episodes. You know what I mean?
Well, again, I think this episode would have been fine without the episode that preceded it, right? Because the episode preceded it's like wearing Fitz's glasses, right? Everything now is tinted by that episode. To the point where this normal, ordinary day for Rudeus has suddenly become, yeah, but he was so serious about that other thing. Now, does he... It wasn't sexual, but I literally only grabbed her breasts just to see if I would be aroused, which is the definition of sexual, if you think about it. But I'm not gonna. Just because it's just two guys, right? Just me and another guy talking about how I tied up a woman against her will, grabbed her breasts, because it wasn't sexual. I'm just saying, there's so much problematic shit now the show is forced me to think about by putting...
The bubble got burst, right?
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe that. So we just gotta go ahead and then you just gotta put it all back in the bubble, and then Rudeus pretends it doesn't exist and then endorse it later.
It's hard to cheer him on now. Because before he was the underdog, right? He was the guy who was getting bullied at school, stripped naked, tied to a fence, beaten a little bit, and then forced to endure the onlooking of other people. And now, he's the guy doing it.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that the trajectory we're going on? Are we gonna cap off the midpoint of the series with Rudeus literally committing the same deed that he remembered happening to him, him going "Oh my god, I'm a creep."
That would be redemption, I think. I now have to have that hope because I think you realized it while I was saying it, and it took me finishing the sentence to realize the thought that you just had to. That would be the redemption. To realize that he has literally become the person who ruined his life before. Because he was literally tied up to a thing and forced to endure hardship, turmoil, mental, emotional stress, strain that ruined his life. And he literally just tied two people up, forced them to endure. It's a mirror image of itself. And if the show plays it to the very end as haha funny anime shenanigans and does not realize the story that's being played out here that we've just realized, if we're smarter than the show writers, God forbid the show, because we're not smart people.
And again, the show has been so good so far. It has been very on point. It knows what it's doing. And then these two, I gotta hope that we just go back to form. That's all I can say. I'm ready for the next episode.
I have to imagine we've lost 50% of our Mushoku Tensei viewers with the last episode's rants. Possibly
the slave owners
possibly another 10% with the rant that started this episode. So if you've reached this part and you've heard our the possible way the show can redeem itself given its own story, that I hope you stick it out with us, because we're not giving up on the show. It's just the problems that we're now having. And I think this is like the My Hero Academia moment, right? When, I would say One Punch Man. When All Might, right? When he's like,
Yeah.
we get that imagery where he's sheltering the light. He's like standing naked over the campfire.
The
like,
last flames of good anime. I must protect them.
Well, the last remnants of his power. It's like, this is the last glimmer of this particular story arc having any good outcome, is the slight hope that it's actually a meta narrative of like a George Lucas style, it's rhymes, right? Like, of the first season and the realization of what he's becoming, having one thing to do with another, and it's not just happy fun, so the story is writing without any presence of mind. The slight glimmer of light in a room full of darkness, that the possibility exists that we're coming back.
I gotta say, I'm right there with you. I'm holding out hope, and I guess we just kind of gotta see next time then. So I think on all that, let's go ahead and wrap up here for the day. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?